So we're releasing the road dance on May the 20th all around the UK, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome John MacKay, who 20 years ago went out with his your first book, John.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and it must be amazing to have your film coming out.
It is.
After all this time.
It's been a long way, but and a long road to get here. But I was saying earlier on that I was going to be in an uncomfortable position if I didn't like the movie, then what was I going to say? Fortunately I do. I genuinely think they made a really good job of the film. So really looking forward to that. As I say, it was a really long road to get here. The book was published. I'll take you right back to the beginning. The book is based on a true story. The very core of the story is true. And I built a series of characters and situations around that core story. And the book was eventually published in 2002. I don't have an agent, so I was doing all this on my own, and that absolutely humiliating experience of rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection, sometimes clumsome, which is, if you go on holiday and you had a great holiday and you come back, you open the door and there's not. Anyway, so Luath Press very kindly, Gavin McDougall liked it, published it, and that was in 2002, and very soon thereafter an actor that I have dealt with professionally, David Heyman, I read your book, it's very cinematic, and up to that point I'd never thought of it being such. Anyway, there was a whole series of working with Scottish production companies, trying to get Scottish production companies interested. One or two made really brave attempts to make it happen, couldn't raise the funding, and about 2017, so that's 15 years after the book, I thought that's the end of it, I'll forget it, it's not happening. And then out of the blue, Jim Kreutzer of Sheridan Road Productions and his partner Mary Eileen Blondell got in touch with me, literally out of the blue. He got in touch with me through my professional Facebook page. Are you the author of? We'd be interested in doing. So that's really all the effort I did over a many number of years. It was a waste of time. All I needed was this guy to read the book and come to me. And they have done a great job with it. I mean that sincerely. I would have been concerned if the movie had been bad. And I would have been just standing here. Yeah, it's fantastic. But I genuinely think they've done it really well. There have been a couple of adaptations to accommodate a wider audience, particularly an American audience, and I think they've done that really smartly. And the key for me was that it would be filmed where it was set, i.e. the west coast of the Isle of Lewis. And at certain times that maybe looked as if it might not happen. It looked sometimes as if the film might not happen. But then there was talk about maybe, we might have to go to Ireland, or we might have to go to Norway, or we might have to go to New Zealand to get funding. Fortunately, purely through the efforts of Jim and Mary Eileen, it was filmed where it's set. I think it's going to cause a great deal of interest in that part of the world because it looks stunning. And it is a film set. The village you're going to see exists. It's a holiday village, but it's a film set in waiting for anyone else who wants to film there, and I think you'll get that impression. So I'm going to I'll stop talking, I'll let you enjoy the film, and I genuinely think you will enjoy it. I may have to, I'm working this afternoon, so I may need to nip off, so even if you don't enjoy the film, I'll not hear about it, but I think you will. Will you want to ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, you covered most of them, but I was wanting to ask about how you felt about having the local community involved.
I think that was really important. I didn't demand very much of the production company. That was down to them. So one of the things that was really important for me, I only found out this afterwards, was that they used the local community centre as a base, the production base. And the community centre, because of COVID, it's been recently redeveloped. It's the Carloway Community Centre used to be the Carloway School. That was where my mother went to school. It's where my 4 grandparents went to school. And the school had closed down, so they were trying to develop it as a community centre. And it looked as if that wouldn't happen. COVID and everything, all their plans for bringing people in, there was not going to be any money. The road dance was filmed during COVID, and the money that they got from the road dance in payment as a production centre means that the place is now thriving, getting refurbished. So for me personally, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So that was very important.
Yeah, and what are your feelings about the cameo that you have?
Well, I'm a crofter at the back of a ceilidh, and I've had a lifetime of practice of that, so it came very naturally. I do look a wee bit dodgy. In fact, on that score, I'm standing beside my son. He's also got a cameo in it, and I thought we were filming over one day. And credit to the cast, because this was October in the Western Isles and it was just wind and it was rain and they're dancing out in the road, and they've done it really well. You'll barely see any of the rain, but my God, you felt it. Anyway, the second day I was distracted by a couple of other things. So my son was left on his own. So the first day of shooting, he and I are standing together, chatting away, blah, 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 rhubarb. I think that's what they say, isn't it? Rhubarb, rhubarb. Anyway, that's what we were saying. But the second day I'm not there, so he's on his own. So he's quite annoyed about the fact that he says, I'm just looking at this weirdo standing back of the dance. And I said, don't worry, it's just one scene, but actually there's quite a few. Anyway, so there was that. But it's we were discussing that earlier on. I see myself as a kind of Hitchcock figure in that regard. Self-present. So when more movies are made of the books, and maybe you could speak to people about that.
Absolutely.
Then there are three other books, so hopefully there'll be some cameos in that as well.
Thank you, John. That's all we wanted to ask you.
I won't bore you anymore. Enjoy the movie. Thank you very much. Yeah, of course. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, with the realisation of the characters, because you know when I'm reading a book and then it's on film, I'm just...
Yes.
But you've written it. You've written those characters. So how does that work for you watching them on screen and going in your mind to what you see?
Well, I think a full credit to Hermione Caulfield, who plays the main character. I had a vision of who the main character was when I wrote the book, a very clear vision of who that character was. And credit to Hermione's performance. When I think of the character now, it's Hermione I'm thinking of. Yeah, she's done it really well. The accents, they've all really done well with the Scottish accent. They're not doing Lewis accents, that would have been too much to expect. But they've done a really good job. And so most of the characters are not as I had them in my mind's eye, but they're still... They fill the role very well. Oh, they absolutely work. But Hermione, and for Hermione in particular, when I think of my main character, Kirsty, I now see Hermione, I don't see the person I had in my head. So that's full credit to her for that.
That's fantastic. And the people of Lewis, what's their closest cinema? Are they going to have to see it?
Yes, there is a cultural centre there in Lantern, which is something that's slightly bigger than this, I think. It's about 70 seats or something. So they've got the cinema there, so we're going to have a launch up there. And in addition to that, which is really important to me, is they're going to be showing it in the film, the community centre for locals to see it. Unfortunately, not the community centre I'm talking about, because it's been refurbished for money from the film, but that's a whole different thing. But the local community are going to see it. So yes, it's going to be up in Luath. And I would hope that after the initial launch, there will be, have a run up there. I would hope so. Yeah. Anyone else? Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.